The living room is dimly lit by the glow of the television. Empty pizza boxes and soda cans scatter the coffee table. Maya enters quietly from the kitchen, carrying a glass of water. She notices David is no longer on the couch where she left him 20 minutes ago when she went to clean up dinner. She looks around confused, then hears a soft creak from upstairs. She sets down her glass and moves toward the staircase, her bare feet silent on the hardwood floor. Maya climbs the stairs slowly, each step deliberate. The hallway is dark except for a sliver of light coming from under Sarah's bedroom door. Maya approaches cautiously and sees that the door is cracked open just slightly. Through the gap, she can see David standing motionless beside Sarah's bed, his silhouette illuminated by the soft glow of Sarah's phone charger light. Sarah is asleep, her breathing steady and peaceful, unaware of the figure watching her. Maya's hand flies to her mouth to stifle a gasp. Her heart pounds as she watches David take a small step closer to the bed. Sarah shifts slightly in her sleep, and David freezes like a statue. Maya feels sick to her stomach, her mind racing between disbelief and horror. She backs away from the door carefully, her hands trembling as she retreats to the top of the stairs. She waits there in the darkness, trying to process what she just witnessed. Minutes feel like hours until she finally hears David's footsteps in the hallway. She quickly but quietly descends the stairs and positions herself back on the couch, pretending to scroll through her phone. David appears in the living room, running his hand through his hair with what appears to be nervous energy. "Hey, where'd you go?" Maya asks, her voice remarkably steady despite the chaos in her mind. "I came back and you weren't here." David sits down beside her, seemingly relaxed. "Oh, just used the bathroom upstairs. The one down here was occupied when your mom got home from her night shift." He reaches for the remote and starts flipping through channels. "Everything okay? You look a little pale." Maya studies his face, searching for any sign of guilt or recognition of what just happened. "I'm fine. Just tired, I guess. Long day at the hospital." She sets her phone aside. "Did you check on Sarah while you were up there? I thought I heard something." "Check on Sarah?" David's response comes too quickly. "No, why would I? She's a grown woman. I just used the bathroom and came back down." He laughs, but it sounds forced. "You're being weird, Maya. What's going on?" Maya feels her throat tighten. "Nothing's going on. I just thought I heard something, that's all." She stands up abruptly. "I think I'm going to head to bed early. Are you coming up?" David looks at her with what she now recognizes might be calculation rather than concern. "In a few minutes. I want to finish watching this show." He gestures toward the television where a late-night comedy program plays. "You go ahead. I'll be up soon." Maya nods and heads upstairs, but instead of going to the guest room where they've been sleeping, she stops outside Sarah's door. She can hear her sister's quiet breathing through the thin wall. She gently pushes the door open and steps inside. Sarah stirs but doesn't wake. Maya sits on the edge of the bed and gently shakes her sister's shoulder. "Sarah, wake up." "Sarah." Sarah's eyes flutter open, confused and disoriented. "Maya? What time is it? Is everything okay?" Maya keeps her voice low and urgent. "Sarah, I need to ask you something, and I need you to tell me the truth. Has he ever done anything that made you uncomfortable? Said anything inappropriate or?" Sarah sits up, suddenly more alert. "What? No, Maya, what are you talking about? Why are you asking me this? Has he ever come into your room when you were sleeping? Or when you were changing clothes? Anything at all that seemed strange or made you feel weird?" Sarah's expression shifts from confusion to concern. "Maya, you're scaring me. What happened? Did something happen with David?" Maya struggles with how much to reveal. I saw him standing in your room tonight. You were asleep and he was just watching you." The color drains from Sarah's face. "What do you mean watching me?" "I mean he was standing right there next to your bed just looking at you while you slept. When I asked him about it, he lied and said he only went to the bathroom." Sarah pulls her blanket up to her chest, a protective gesture that breaks Maya's heart. "Oh my God, Maya. That's so creepy. How long was he there?" "I don't know. I only saw him for a minute or two. But I have no idea how long he'd been there before I found him." Maya reaches for Sarah's hand. "Sarah, has anything like this happened before? Please think." Sarah is quiet for a long moment, and Maya can see her mind working, processing memories through a new lens. There was this one time, maybe a month ago. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I could have sworn I heard someone in the hallway outside my room. When I got up to check, David was coming out of the bathroom, but something felt off about it, like he'd been there for a while. Maya feels her stomach drop. Why didn't you tell me? Because I thought I was being paranoid. He's your boyfriend, Maya. I didn't want to cause problems between you two over nothing. And honestly, I convinced myself I was probably just half asleep and imagining things. What else, Sarah? Please, anything. Sarah wraps her arms around her knees. Sometimes when you're not here and he is, I feel like he's always finding excuses to be wherever I am. If I'm in the kitchen, he needs something from the kitchen. If I'm watching TV, he wants to watch something too. I started going to my room more when he's around because it felt, I don't know, intense. Maya stands up and begins pacing the small room. Oh my God, Sarah. I am so sorry. I should have seen this. I should have protected you. Maya, it's not your fault. And maybe we're overreacting. Maybe he really was just going to the bathroom and happened to glance in my room to make sure I was okay. No, Sarah. People don't stand and stare at sleeping people to make sure they're okay. And they definitely don't lie about it afterward. Maya sits back down on the bed. We need to tell Mom. Maya, no. Please. Think about what this means. If we're right about this, if David is some kind of... What? Peeping Tom? Pervert. This is going to destroy you. You've been with him for 2 years. You love him. Maya feels tears welling up in her eyes. I thought I did. But the man I love wouldn't do this. The man I love wouldn't violate my sister's privacy and safety like this. She wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. Sarah, your safety is more important than my relationship. It's more important than anything. Sarah reaches out and hugs her sister. What are we going to do? Before Maya can answer, they hear footsteps on the stairs. Maya quickly stands up and moves toward the door. He's coming up. Lock your door tonight, okay? And tomorrow when he's at work, we'll figure out what to do next. Okay. But Maya? Be careful. If he's been doing this and he finds out that you know. Maya nods grimly. I'll be careful. Try to get some sleep, and remember to lock the door. Maya slips out of Sarah's room and quickly moves to the guest room. She hears David's footsteps in the hallway just as she closes the door behind her. She gets into bed fully clothed and pretends to be asleep when David enters the room a few minutes later. David moves around quietly, changing into his pajamas and brushing his teeth in the attached bathroom. Maya keeps her breathing steady and even, but her mind is racing. She thinks about the past 2 years with David, searching for signs she might have missed. His charm, his attentiveness, his insistence on staying at her family's house instead of hotels when they visited. Was this always his plan? David gets into bed beside her, and Maya has to force herself not to recoil when he puts his arm around her. Maya? You awake? She doesn't respond, continuing to feign sleep. After a few minutes, David's breathing becomes deep and regular. Maya lies awake for hours staring at the ceiling, planning what she needs to do to protect her sister and end this relationship. The next morning, Maya wakes up before David and goes downstairs to find Linda in the kitchen, preparing for her day job after working the night shift at the hospital. Linda looks exhausted, and Maya's heart aches knowing she's about to add another burden to her mother's already overwhelming life. Mom, we need to talk. It's about David. Linda sets down her coffee mug and looks at Maya with immediate concern. What happened? You look like you haven't slept. Maya takes a deep breath and tells her mother everything what she witnessed, her conversation with Sarah, and Sarah's admission about previous incidents that made her uncomfortable. Linda listens without interruption, her expression growing darker with each revelation. When Maya finishes, Linda is quiet for a long moment. Then she stands up and walks to the kitchen window, looking out at the backyard where Maya and Sarah used to play as children. I knew something felt off about him, Linda says quietly. A mother's instinct, maybe, but you seem so happy. And I thought I was just being overprotective because he was the first serious boyfriend you brought home. Mom, I'm so sorry. I brought him into our house. I put Sarah at risk. Linda turns around and pulls Maya into a fierce hug. No, honey. You are not responsible for his actions. You're a victim here too. She pulls back and looks Maya in the eyes. What do you want to do? I want him gone. Today. But I don't know how to do this without it becoming a huge confrontation. What if he denies it? What if he tries to turn it around on us? Then we handle it together. As a family. Linda glances toward the stairs. Is he still sleeping? Yeah, but he'll be up soon. He has to be at work by 9. Linda nods. Sarah doesn't have classes today. I'm going to call in sick to my day job and stay home. When David leaves for work, the 3 of us will pack up his things and put them in his car. When he comes home tonight, we'll be waiting for him with everything ready to go. What if he refuses to leave? What if he gets angry or violent? Then we call the police. Maya, what he did is not okay. Even if he never touched Sarah, even if he never went beyond watching her sleep, that's still a violation. That's still predatory behavior. And who knows what he might have escalated to if you hadn't caught him. Maya shudders at the thought. I keep thinking about all the times I encouraged him to make himself at home here. All the times I left him alone in the house with Sarah while I ran errands or worked late shifts. Stop torturing yourself. We deal with the situation as it is now, not as it might have been. Linda pours herself another cup of coffee. Go get Sarah. We need to make sure we're all on the same page about how we're going to handle this. Maya goes upstairs and quietly wakes Sarah, who immediately looks frightened until Maya explains the plan. Sarah is relieved but also nervous about the confrontation to come. When David comes downstairs for breakfast, the 3 women are sitting around the kitchen table with forced normalcy. David seems cheerful and unaware that anything has changed. Good morning, ladies. How'd everyone sleep? He kisses Maya on the cheek, and she has to suppress the urge to pull away. Fine, Maya responds. You. Like a baby. I love how quiet it is here compared to the city. He pours himself coffee and grabs a piece of toast. I've got a big presentation today, so I might be home a little late tonight. Don't wait up for me. Maya exchanges glances with her mother and sister. Actually, we'll probably be up. Mom took the day off, so we're having a family night. David pauses with his coffee cup halfway to his mouth. Oh? Everything okay? Linda, you never take time off. Linda manages a smile. Just wanted to spend some time with my girls. You understand. David looks between the 3 women, and for just a moment, Maya sees something flicker across his expression. Suspicion? Calculation? But then his charming smile returns. Of course. Family is important. Maybe I can join you when I get home. Maybe, Maya says non-committally. David finishes his breakfast quickly and gathers his work things. I'll see you tonight then. Love you, Maya. He kisses her again and she forces herself to say it back. As soon as they hear his car pull out of the driveway, the 3 women spring into action. They go to the guest room and systematically pack all of David's belongings. His clothes, toiletries, laptop charger, and various personal items he's accumulated during his stays at their house. As they pack, Linda finds a small notebook tucked between David's sweaters. She opens it and her face goes white. Maya, Sarah, come look at this. The notebook contains what appears to be a detailed log of Sarah's daily routines. Time she goes to bed, when she showers, what she wears to sleep, and even notes about when she's home alone. The handwriting is definitely David's. Sarah starts crying when she sees the notebook. Oh my God, he's been watching me for months. He's been planning this. Maya feels rage building in her chest. That sick bastard. He's been using me to get access to you, Sarah. This whole relationship has been about getting close to my family, to you. Linda closes the notebook with shaking hands. We're keeping this. This is evidence. Maya, we're not just asking him to leave tonight. We're calling the police. Maya nods, her decision crystallizing. You're right. This isn't just inappropriate behavior. This is stalking. Sarah, he could have been taking pictures or worse. We don't know how far this goes. They finish packing David's belongings in grim silence, each lost in their own thoughts about what they've discovered. The notebook changes everything. This isn't a misunderstanding or a moment of poor judgment. This is predatory behavior that has been going on for months. That afternoon, Maya calls David at work. Hey, can you come home a little early tonight? There's something I need to talk to you about. David's voice is cheerful. Sure, babe. Everything okay? We'll talk when you get here. When David arrives home that evening, he finds Maya, Sarah, and Linda sitting in the living room with his packed bags by the door and the notebook on the coffee table. His expression immediately changes when he sees the setup. What's going on? Why are my things packed? Maya stands up, her voice steady despite her racing heart. David, we need you to leave. Tonight. And we don't want you to contact any of us again. David looks genuinely confused, but Maya now recognizes it might be an act. Maya, what are you talking about? What happened? Maya picks up the notebook and holds it out to him. We found this among your things. Care to explain why you've been keeping detailed notes about my sister's daily routine? David's face goes through several expressions: surprise, denial, and then something that looks almost like relief at being caught. Maya, I can explain that. I'm listening. David sits down heavily on the couch across from them. Look, I know how this looks, but it's not what you think. I was trying to be a good houseguest. I was keeping track of everyone's schedule so I wouldn't be in the way. Linda speaks up for the first time. David, this notebook includes details about what my daughter wears to bed, and when she showers. How is that being a good houseguest? David runs his hands through his hair, and Maya can see him calculating his next move. Okay, look. Maybe I was a little too observant. Maybe I wrote down things I shouldn't have. But I never did anything wrong. I never touched Sarah or hurt her in any way. Last night I saw you standing in Sarah's room watching her sleep. Maya says quietly. When I asked you about it, you lied. David's composure finally cracks. You were spying on me? I was getting a glass of water from the kitchen and came back to find you gone. I went looking for you and found you standing over my sleeping sister like some kind of predator. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I heard a noise and went to check on her. I was being protective. Sarah finally speaks up, her voice shaking but determined. You don't protect someone by lying about it afterward. And you don't protect someone by keeping detailed notes about their personal habits. David looks at Sarah and for the first time his mask completely slips. Maya sees something cold and calculating in his expression as he looks at her sister. Sarah, you don't understand what you're talking about. You're just a kid. She's 22 years old, Linda says sharply. And she understands perfectly well when someone is making her uncomfortable in her own home. David stands up abruptly. This is ridiculous. Maya, we've been together for 2 years. You know me. You know I'm not some kind of monster. Maya feels tears threatening again. I thought I knew you. But the man I fell in love with wouldn't do any of this. The man I loved wouldn't violate my family's trust and safety. I never violated anything. I never even talked to Sarah inappropriately, let alone touched her. Stalking someone doesn't require touching them, David. Linda interjects. Keeping detailed notes about someone's private routines without their knowledge or consent is a violation. David looks around the room at the 3 women, and Maya can see him realizing that there's no way to talk his way out of this situation. His expression hardens. Fine. You want me to leave? I'll leave. But Maya, when you realize you've thrown away the best relationship you'll ever have over nothing, don't come crawling back to me. Maya stands up straighter. David, I want you to know that we're not keeping this between us. We're filing a police report about the stalking behavior, and I'm going to make sure that everyone in our social circle knows what kind of person you really are. David's face flushes with anger. You can't prove anything. That notebook doesn't prove anything illegal. Maybe not illegal, but it proves you're a creep who can't be trusted around women, Sarah says, finding her voice. And Maya's right, people deserve to know what you're capable of. David picks up his bags and heads toward the door, then turns back. Maya, you have no idea what you're giving up. I could have given you everything. Maya looks at him with disgust. What you were giving me was a lie. Everything about our relationship was built on deception so you could get access to my sister. That's not love, David. That's manipulation. David leaves without another word, slamming the door behind him. The 3 women sit in silence for several minutes, the weight of what just happened settling over them. Finally, Linda speaks. How are you feeling, honey? Maya wipes her eyes. Heartbroken. Angry. Relieved. Scared. I don't know how I'm supposed to trust anyone again after this. Sarah moves over to sit beside her sister. Maya, what happened with David doesn't mean all men are like that. It just means he was really good at hiding who he really was. Your sister's right, Linda adds. And Maya, the fact that you chose to protect Sarah over protecting your relationship shows exactly what kind of person you are. You did the right thing, even though it was the hardest thing. Maya hugs both her sister and her mother. I just keep thinking about what might have happened if I hadn't caught him. How long would this have gone on? What would he have escalated to? We'll never know, and that's probably for the best, Linda says. What matters is that it's over now, and Sarah is safe. Over the following weeks, Maya struggles with the aftermath of the breakup. She files a police report, though the officers explain that while David's behavior was inappropriate and disturbing, it falls into a gray area legally. However, they create a record of the incident in case he escalates his behavior with Sarah or anyone else in the future. Maya also faces the difficult task of explaining the breakup to friends and coworkers who knew David. Some are supportive and horrified by his behavior. Others are skeptical, suggesting that Maya might be overreacting or misinterpreting innocent actions. These reactions are almost as hurtful as David's betrayal itself. Sarah starts seeing a counselor to help her process the violation of her privacy, and the knowledge that someone was watching her most vulnerable moments without her knowledge. She also changes her daily routines and becomes more security conscious, installing a lock on her bedroom door, and being more aware of her surroundings. Linda takes on the role of family protector with renewed vigor, but she also struggles with guilt about not recognizing David's true nature sooner. She finds herself second-guessing her instincts about people and becoming more suspicious of strangers. About a month after David's departure, Maya receives a text message from an unknown number. The message simply says, "You made a mistake, Maya. I'm not done with your family." Maya immediately contacts the police and shows them the message. They trace the number to a prepaid phone, but they're able to connect it to David through store surveillance footage of him purchasing the phone. This gives them grounds to issue a restraining order against David, prohibiting him from contacting Maya, Sarah, or Linda. The restraining order provides some legal protection, but it also confirms Maya's worst fears. David hasn't accepted the end of their relationship, and he still sees her family as targets. The family increases their security measures, changes their phone numbers, and Maya considers whether she should move back home temporarily to help protect her mother and sister. As the script concludes, Maya sits in her therapist's office, working through the complex emotions surrounding the end of her relationship and the realization that the man she loved was never real. She's learning to forgive herself for not seeing the signs sooner and to trust her instincts moving forward. The final scene shows the three women at home, stronger as a family unit, but forever changed by the experience. They've learned that predators can come in any form, even as someone's beloved boyfriend, and that protecting each other sometimes means making difficult and painful choices. Maya has lost a relationship, but she's gained a deeper understanding of what love really means. It means putting the safety and well-being of those you care about above your own comfort and happiness. Sarah has regained her sense of security in her own home, though she remains more cautious than before. Linda has learned to trust her maternal instincts, even when they conflict with her desire to see her daughters happy. Together, they've survived a threat that could have torn their family apart, and they've emerged with a stronger bond and a clearer understanding of what it means to protect and support each other. The script ends with a message about the importance of trusting your instincts, protecting vulnerable family members, and recognizing that love should never come at the expense of someone else's safety or well-being.